Thing one tonight, if you think things are crazy in the U.S. Capitol building these days, you should check in on British Parliament and the total mess that is Brexit. But even as the UK hurtles towards potential catastrophe, Parliament found 10 minutes for a timeout yesterday for a very important issue facing the people. The letterboxes are too damn low. Vicky Ford, a Conservative MP representing Chelmsford, is proposing a ban on mail slots in new buildings being placed indoors below a certain height.
I met the Communication Workers Union. They told me the key issue for their members, and it's not Brexit. It is low-level letterboxes and dangerous dogs. Now, I am not asking homeowners to retrospectively change their existing letterboxes or replace their front doors. When it comes to front doors, Mr. Speaker, a lot of people are very fond of their knockers.
Now, if you're wondering how Parliament manages to keep order enough to get from Brexit to mailboxes and then back to Brexit again, well, they've got a guy. And he's thing two in 60 seconds. Out of the chaos of the Brexit debate in British Parliament has emerged a new international star, the Speaker of the House of Commons, John Berko. Our friends at CBC News put together this little highlight reel of the man who keeps the order.
I know what I'm doing. The key point is persistence. If the honourable if the honourable gentleman wishes to press his amendment, he is entitled to do so. Oh, yes, he is. Oh, yes, he is. I'll be the judge of that. Order. The House must calm itself. Zen, restraint, patience. Order. People talk about respect in this House, but there's a Minister of the Crown shouting. Stop it. You're capable of much better than that. This matter, order. I'm not interested in people chuntering from a sedentary position to no obvious benefit or purpose. I'm ruling on the matter and I require no assistance in the process of doing so. Division! Clear the lobby!
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.